Hello everybody, my name is Paul from Cryonetic. In this tutorial we will be covering a glass-like material and reflections and translucency that it does inside of Unreal Engine 4. Now this was requested by a fellow Unreal user. Didn't know if he wanted me to leave his name, but let me know in the comments and then I'll give you a shout out in one of our other videos. But basically, I tried to find the simplest way to do this inside of Unreal, using their documentation and tutorials and everything, and I just couldn't find anything. It does cover screen space reflections, or SSR, and it does explain how to use that, but it just didn't work for this particular type of material that we wanted to do. And then there was also something on how to create a mirror, and lots of people have videos on how to create mirrors, but it's all using completely different methods. So to show you how I set this up, or first let's just cover basically how screen space reflections work inside of Unreal. Now basically screen space reflections works with, you have this reflection capture here on the side. You'll see that they are, if you type in reflect, you'll see that they are these 3 different volumes. Now the sphere volume, you can see I got 2 of them in the scene here, but they don't change anything in this particular area. It basically, you put one of them in, then it's got a huge area of effect which you can change, and then it basically just tells the engine what parts need to display on this reflective surface at the bottom. Now if there isn't anything like this, the reflective surface will actually reflect some of the geometry itself, but there is a fall off to this. What I mean by the fall off is, if you come closer and you start to look down, you'll notice that the reflection here at the bottom starts disappearing until it's completely gone. Now if you look at my material or my glass plane that I set up here, is that its reflection doesn't disappear based on what angle I'm looking at. And that chair over there, that's just a separate chair that I put over there. It doesn't actually, it reflects one and then I put another one on the opposite side, and you can see that up here I did something like that. So so the way that I set up this was, it had more to do with the type of reflection volume that I use rather than the material itself. So let me quickly give you a demonstration. I'm going to use the planar reflection on this one over here, and I'm just going to hold and drag it into the world, and then you'll see that it almost looks like it's like this massive reflective lake. Now that's just because that is the area size, which you can change yourself, but I'm not going to change anything for this tutorial purposes. And then on its details pane there is a show preview plane, and if you deselect that, you'll see that all of that disappears and just the area that it's supposed to influence remains. And while this doesn't look any different at the current moment, if I start to look down, you'll see that the reflections are still there and they remain, which is exactly the same that I did with this one over here. You'll see that there is the other volume. If I just select it over there and I enable it again, you'll see that's what it looks like. Now you have to keep one thing in mind, that these are angle based. So if you hit space, I'm going to rotate it just to show you what I mean. That is the flat plane, and then you can rotate it to whatever angle you want it to be. So whatever material you want influenced must basically be on the same angle as your reflector or planar reflection itself. So let's just untick that again, and see, there we go. So now we're quickly going to jump over to the material itself, which is not that difficult. Just see, this is basically the setup I used. Now you can completely ignore all of these at the bottom. This was just me testing out Fresnel to see if it would do anything specifically, and it didn't do all that much for this particular material, so I wouldn't worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a completely new one. So right click, and we're going to create a new material. We're going to call this glass test, and then I'm going to open it, just bring it in here. Okay, so now we have a completely blank material. We're just going to click on it over here, and we're going to change its blend mode to translucent. And you're going to scroll down, and here where it says lighting mode, we're going to change that to surface translucency volume. Okay, so that's it for setting up that piece. Now we just need to add some color and reflection values and everything to it. So right click, and I'm going to type in param, and I'm going to go for a vector parameter. And I'm just going to hook this up to the base color. And then on the left here by its values, I'm going to click, and I'm going to move it up so I can get like a white texture. You can use any color that you want. You can make it red, it will be a red one. Let's make it maybe a blue so that we can compare it to the other material that we have. So we can make it like a light blue. And then I'm going to add two constants. Well, actually, I think I need 3 constant values. So you can just right click, type in constant, and then click on that one, hit Control C and Control V and Control V again, so that I have 3 different constant values over here. So the first one I'm going to feed into metallic. I'm going to set its value to 0.3. The second one I'm going to feed into roughness, and I'm going to leave its value at 0. And then the last one into opacity. Now this one I'm going to change to 0.9. There we go. And I'm going to hit apply. And that's it. That is your basic translucent material setup. So just going to drag this off. You see here it is. We'll drag it into the world. And just wait for it to compile. And there we go. So now you see that that was your very basic reflection setup already. You can tweak around with it a little bit. As I said, I added some refraction values. Well, basically what that did, it made it curve on the sides here where where you see like the inside parts of the floor. It would like make a little curve here and distort it slightly. And you can also play around with your planar reflection angle or size or anything. So this all really depends on what you want to do. So this is a very, very basic setup. But as I said, this was the easiest that I could find based on, well, I would say about 4 days worth of looking around for anything based on reflections, materials, and translucent materials and everything. And I came up with this final piece over here. This was the easiest that I could possibly do and get away with something that actually looks pretty good. So if you like what you saw, you can leave a like. If you didn't, you can leave a dislike. Leave a comment down below. You can ask a question as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, as I will be trying to put out more content. And I thank all of you very much for watching. Thank you for the support, and I will see all of you in the next video. Thank you again. Bye bye.